injury report.
Evidently, we've done this a few times. Injury report. How's that, Ira?
That's beautiful.
Logan Mankins and Sterling Moore. Sterling has an ankle, should be okay. Logan has a knee, should be okay. So we're in pretty good shape. Injury-wise, you know, last Wednesday, you know, last opportunity to make an impression for our football team. We talked about leaving a good taste in our mouths, and you know, for the players and all of us, coaches and all, to put our signature, our name behind the performance this week. Carolina, of course, have a great season. Had a great season. Getting ready to go to the playoffs. What better way to make a statement? Take your question.
Well, what's Carolina done to get to where they are now? They were much like this team just a few years ago. What have they done the last few years?
Yeah, yes, they were, and that's what, you know, gives us hope too. Of course, you know, it seemed like you have to be really down and get an opportunity to get a couple of players. Getting, of course, Cam Newton sends you in the right direction. Getting a Luke Kuechly sends you in the right direction, and they've done a great job with their personnel. Just kind of stayed the course to who they were. We've seen them get better and better. Unfortunately for the rest of us in the NFC South, but that is a model of what we're going to do. Is, you know, we've made progress, but we're not quite there yet. But in time, we will be. And again, in order for us to get up on top, we have to be able to compete and beat teams like that.
Coach, they were 7-8-1 last year, I believe, and won the division, and didn't really add a lot of players via free agency. And Kelvin Benjamin went down with an injury. How are they able to double their win total, really by not adding talent? What have you seen on film different?
I haven't seen a whole lot different, so I can't really, you know, I can talk an awful lot more about our team, but what they've done, you know, they're committed to their approach on how, you know, they win football games. And I'm talking about believe strongly in the running game, but I think they're a little different than most teams. I would say all teams in the league. It's a running game +1. And I'm talking about Cam Newton and the amount of yards he gets rushing, you know, running the football each week. And of course, Ted Ginn has had a great year, great speed. When you commit to the run, you have openings outside. Greg Olsen, you know, Pro Bowl tight end. Look at their roster. I mean, they have, you know, quite a few guys going to the Pro Bowl. And on the other side too, I mean, they're leading the league in takeaways. I mean, so you have an offense like that, and you're giving them more and more opportunities. You have a season like that.
Lovie, defensively, I mean, you guys are gonna. We talk about yards and whether yards matter, but you're a top 10 defense in that aspect. Not so much points allowed, but are you? There seems to be more of a disparity. Like you look at your offense, and you know certainly you'd say big improvement. You know, arrow up, a lot of young players, a lot of them draft pick. And then your defense, you have Gerald and Levante, and then Quan, who you did draft, you know, as a top level. But do you feel like there's sort of an unevenness in terms of your team about how much improvement one side has made versus the other? Does that make sense? Like, well, and is part of that the resources that you devoid on one side?
And I think we've improved in areas that we really should improve. You know, we have had a commitment, brought in a lot of young players on the opposite side of the ball that are very good football players. They played about the way that they should have. And it does take a little bit of time. But I'm going to go to the defense. Yards, everyone, you judge a defense based on yards. So we need to be judged that same way too. And there has been progress in that area. You're right. Scoring defense, third downs, takeaways, we have to improve in those areas. But we've made progress in some areas too. But it's not a finished product right now. And we'll, just like the Panthers have done, we're going to continue to get better, keep coaching hard, coaching better, playing better, and eventually we're going to get up top too.
Well, obviously Doug Martin's had a strong season, ranked second in the NFL. How much of a concern for you are the fumbles that he's lost this season, given that he hadn't had problems with that in past years?
He hasn't had a big problem with it in past years, so you have to kind of take it. We're not. We can't fumble the ball. It's about the turnover ratio. It's about ball security on the offensive side of the football. So that will never be acceptable for us. And that's just something we have to clean up, as simple as that. Doug realizes that. You see what fumbles can do to you, not what they can, what they do to you. So that's part of our game that we have to clean up. Simple as that.
Lovie, how destructive, demoralizing have penalties been this year? Last year wasn't great either. Going forward, Lovie, how do you address that?
We just have to keep addressing it. How is how, you know, you keep talking about it, you keep preaching it. You know, players see the results that penalties cause. I think that goes along with where we are as a football team right now. There's some things that, once we clean all this up, we won't be talking, we won't be in this situation we're in. It's as simple as that. You don't normally think of penalties that way, but we've had critical penalties that have cost us an awful lot. Again, we've only had a couple of takeaways here lately, but penalties have taken back both of those. And I've talked a lot about the pre-snap, post-snap penalties. We'll keep working on it. That's my answer.
Lovie, still a game left to go before you do the full evaluation, but at this point, has Jameis Winston exceeded expectations, met expectations as advertised? I gotta think probably a little bit exceeded expectations in some areas.
Well, I mean, you're coming in as a top pick in the draft. There are high expectations coming in. And I think I've been pretty consistent with my answers as far as Jameis Winston is concerned. He's been outstanding, about as much as you can ask from a rookie quarterback coming into the league. A guy whose era is definitely pointed that way. We're going to win a lot of football games for him. So, exceed, now I had pretty high goals, hopes for him coming in. And I would definitely say he's met them. He would say, I probably maybe I've met them. But he's not going to talk an awful lot about that. He expected to come into the league and play pretty good. He has done that.
Lovie, with Adam Spencer, Mike James, Tevin Westbrook, and now Kamario McFadden, you guys have been able to promote 4 guys to the practice squad in the last week, which kind of keeps them under contract toward next year. These are names that fans might not know, or just what you've seen from them, what you like about them to make sure you have them moving forward.
First off, except for Kamario, all the other players, Evan Spencer, you mentioned Tevin Westbrook, and who was the third one?
Mike James.
Mike James. Of course, Mike James has been around here a long time. I kind of consider him, you know, he's been active quite a bit. But all these players have you can only have 53 guys, but we look at it as a 61-man roster or 63-man roster. And eventually we move those guys up, guys that we think have a future that will eventually play football for us. They've made plays throughout the year. We've noticed them on the practice field. They've done everything that you ask players that in the practice squad ready to move up. You ask them to do. They have talent. And Evan Spencer, good size, can catch the football, can run. Tevin Westbrook, think about him. I was talking with him yesterday, and I didn't know the whole background that he was a lineman, an O lineman, a D lineman, moved tight end, lost a lot of weight, and he's got better and better every day out there. He has a future here. And of course, Mike James is just in a situation. All our running backs have been healthy, and he's done performed.
Lovie, you averaged 9 wins in Chicago. You went to the playoffs and Super Bowl. I know how competitive you are, and 6 and 10 or 7 and 9, that's not good enough for you. So what gives you the most confidence going forward?
Well, we're making progress going forward, and that's what. Try not to live in the past too much, but have a history of we're doing this. That's what gives me hope. We have good young players coming up, and again, I made the statement that we're not a finished product, but we're headed in the right direction. I believe in what we're doing with all 3 phases, and we're going to eventually get there. That's what history told me.
How much does this finish, the 3 losses in a row, diminish that a little bit in your eyes?
We're not satisfied with the 3 losses, and right now, though, Ira, we would like to finish it up with that one big win at the end of the season. But even with that, I'm talking about what we've done. We're a better football team than we were last year. There is progress, period. You know, whether it's 3 losses right now or 3 mixed in, that we're not satisfied with that, and that isn't good enough. We realize that.
Lovie, Vincent Jackson was placed on IR. I mean, obviously he can't play, but
Yes.
he's missed a lot of games this year. He's 32 years old. How much of a future do you think he has here with this football team?
I think he has a future. He's missed, we had a few guys that miss more games than we would like. I think as you look at a 32-year-old player, you look at how he played when he was out on the football and healthy. And I think we would all say that Vincent played pretty good football, so assume that he'll be healthy going forward. Disappointing this year that he missed a lot of time. We could have used it. And as I talk about us getting better, you know, there's some key players, you know, that we have missed. I'm gonna go to a guy, Clint McDonald, that we haven't talked about in a long time, kind of the glue to our football team. But, again, back to Vince. Vince had a lot of good football down. That's how I see it.
Anything else?
Thank you.